Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to welcome you here today with us. That's wonderful that you found time after your winter break and join us to get some inspiration and to find out some new information that could be necessary or useful for your lessons. So I see all your welcoming messages. Hello to each city that is represented here: Lviv, Volyn, Khmelnytsky, Poltava, Chernivtsi. Odessa. I'm really glad that so many teachers are here with us today. And as far as I can see, you can hear me well. So let's start. First of all, let me say some words to congratulate you with New Year. So Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. And I hope you had really great vacation time. You had holidays full of bright emotions. And now you are inspired and you are going to start the new term with new energy, with lots of ideas and with different interesting things to do with your students, with your pupils. So today we are going to talk about speaking. The title of the webinar is The Wonderful World of Speaking, and to my mind it is the wonderful world. When I was a little girl, I didn't understand how to speak English. Actually, for me it was some magic. So I pretended I could speak English. I used some nonsense words, some language that just I made up and try to sound like native speakers. But then with lots of efforts of my teachers, my own also, I became the speaker of English, and I could do it. It was really, it was the victory. And I think that for us, for teachers, to notice this moment when our students become speakers, they can use language to communicate their thoughts. This is really like a holiday, like big fireworks around us. So let's find out, what can we do? How can we help the students to start speaking as fast as it is possible? And today we are going to talk about speaking from the very first lessons. Is it necessary for our students to start speaking when they don't know anything? Is it possible actually? Then we will look at some challenges and such as big classes, using native languages, different. So we will discuss them during the webinar, and we will find out about outcomes. So what we as teachers expect from our students, what the program expect from our students to manage to speak about. And also we will try to somehow to practice how to make speaking activities. What can we do with our books to encourage speaking? And if you listen the webinar till the end, you will find out about a little spontaneous, I would say, competition. There is a small task for the teachers, and some teachers will get a prize from National Geographic Learning. We will send it to you by the mail. So we'll see. So the task is to listen the webinar till the end and to find out what the task is actually. So certificates. This is the question that lots of you are worried about. Certificates are made automatically and are sent to everyone who joined the webinar. and was active and listened to it at least for the half of the time, and it is sent automatically. We found out that the mailboxes ukr.net have some problems, and teachers who registered from that boxes didn't get the emails. We saw your registration, but the mail, you don't see the mails. So it means that to join the webinars from Lingvist company, try to make another mailbox. It could be any other, because we didn't spot this problem with any other mail systems. So anyway, you don't get the certificates right away. It should be at least till the evening and within the week. So not so be patient. And everyone, if you can hear this, it means that you will get the certificate. So just be patient and wait for it. You get the email. It looks like this. So the thank you for attending the webinar. It was the previous one. It looks like that with our logo. And when you scroll down, you will see some useful links somewhere in the middle of the email. And then at the bottom, you can see watch recording and this button, my certificate. You press this button and the new tab is open and you can download it. So this is a short instruction how you can get your certificate if you are the first, if you're a newcomer with us today. National Geographic Learning. I hope that lots of you have heard about this publishing house, and I hope that you know the products. But anyway, this is a really great publishing house that helps us teachers teach our students about the world. Don't just give the lessons of English. They give the lessons that show that English is an instrument that can help you be successful, can help you find out about new cultures, about new people, about new interesting things. If the teachers and students work with these books, they have lots of different things to talk about. Starting from nature, which is National Geographic focus, and to some social issues. Really interesting questions that develop critical thinking, that develop creativity, that develop collaboration are presented in our title. So let's have a closer look. What can you as teachers use? If you work with children, with primary children, there are two great series that are called Our World and Wonderful World. Our World is a series with lots of projects, lots of communicative tasks, group activities, games that are in the book. You don't have to have different extra materials. Everything is there. They have lots of songs. Each unit has a nice song to introduce grammar and vocabulary, and some teachers say that the songs from Our World are the best they have ever heard. I mean, the best for teaching, the best for using the classroom. Wonderful World, these are the books that are structured, that support our students with clear grammar, introduction and practice, with lots of vocabulary, with interesting texts about children all over the world. You won't see there any fictional characters. You will see real children from different countries who tell us about their customs, about their everyday life, about their hobbies, and so on and so on. Everything, all skills are practiced there. The students study how to read, how to speak, how to write. They listen a lot. All texts have scripts, have audio, so it develops everything together with really simple and interesting projects. Your students become successful and they are ready to study in the secondary school. For secondary schools, there are different titles. Close up, you can see this is the first of this green book. This is a perfect choice if you want to prepare your students for exams. State exams, international exams, the books give you the understanding. You and your students, you understand the structure of any exam, what is important to be successful. And together with this, you are surrounded with high quality pictures, with interesting, inspiring videos. So you not just get ready for the exams, but you haven't lost your motivation. Impact, the good choice if you want to combine English together with different subjects. You can study a lot interesting things together with your students and develop English as well. Perspectives are the series that are made with the TED Talks, selected specially for teenagers. The students understand how to give nice presentations, professional presentations. They collaborate so many times, they work together, they read articles that develop their critical thinking, they study how to look at the problem, at any issue from different perspectives. So they understand that there is not only black and white in our world. They understand that there are different opinions and you have to know about that, you have to work with them, and you can be really successful if you understand, if you can understand the problem from different sides. A series for adults, another great series that lots of them. Life can help you to prepare your students for IELTS exams and also gives a clear structure of the language. It started from the starter level up to advanced level. Your students read lots of interesting texts. They practice speaking a lot, they practice writing, reading, and they get some really useful things that can help them pass IELTS. Keynote are the series based on TED Talks. This is something that looks like perspectives, but for adults, and it combines general and business English. So you get some vocabulary, some language that students need for their business work to communicate successfully, to communicate as a real businessman. And outcomes, this is the bestseller in Britain and one of the most popular books here in Ukraine, based on lexical approach written by Hugh Deller and Andrew Walkley. Students get really so many words and expressions. They study it in the context. They study grammar in context, so they are ready to come out of the classroom and speak to native speakers, understand them, and to sound naturally and professionally. So this was a short presentation of the books. So if you're interested, you can contact me, and I can tell you a bit more about the books, about the titles, and show how to work with them. So let's move on. For teachers who are in Kyiv or not far from Kyiv, we welcome you to our speaking clubs. Now it's only for Kyiv where the office is situated. We meet twice a month and discuss different topics that are not connected with teaching. You can, last time we were discussing entertainment. Next meeting is on January 23rd, so you can join us in the center of Kyiv and forget that you're a teacher, that you have to teach how to use present simple, when not to use present perfect, and so on. You just can relax, talk about what you like, and develop your English level. So again, we announce everything on our Facebook page, and again, you can contact me if you want to know more details about this event. This is our Facebook page. We try to support teachers with different things, with different useful materials. So if you haven't still done it, in the follow-up email, you will find the link. So join us, and we try to give really necessary and useful things every day. Something like videos that show how to talk, how to work with the photos, what can be discussed while you look at the photo, how can you develop student skills with the photos. And let's start. So the teacher came into the classroom. It's the first time the teacher sees so many happy, or maybe not very happy, faces and eyes. What a teacher can do. How to start with? What are your ideas, actually? So I'm reading your comments now. Hello, everyone from every city that you mentioned. Really great. Суми, Закарпаття, Черкаси, Новий Розділ. Great. So you start from songs and rhymes. Nice. This is what students do, right? And we will talk about it today. To say hello in an interesting way. A good idea. Catch an interesting task. Yes, to surprise them. Yeah, if you surprise your students, you are the hero of this lesson. Yes, I'm greeting. What news? Create positive atmosphere. Thank you so much. Some warm-up activities. Yeah. Oh, we even have teachers from another countries. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Unexpected questions. That's really nice. Again, you surprise them, you help them to forget about something that bothers them. Yeah, you get them involved. Introduce yourself, and students do the same for sure. Smile. Yeah, the teacher without a smile has a bit different effect on the class. Yeah, chance. Yeah, this is what is really important. It helps especially young learners to start to break the ice with the speaking. Must be happy and smile every lesson. Yeah, but let's remember that we are the humans, and if we don't act naturally, our students can feel it. So if it's okay if this teacher is not in a good mood, it doesn't mean that he or she should shout, should say something like, okay, please don't disturb me today, I had a bad day. Yes, but anyway, it's all right, and maybe the students will feel it anyway. So it's not a must, it's like a very strong advice, I would say. All right, thank you for your ideas. Let's see what I'm talking about. So this is about the first class. This is about students who don't speak English. You don't know them. They don't know you. They hardly know several words in English. So what can be done in order to teach them speaking? Yeah. So the first thing is that the teacher is the model. So if the teacher speaks English, it gives you way more chances that your students will use English. If teacher speaks native language and demands from students to speak English only, it's a bit of nonsense, right? I think that we all understand this. So the first thing is classroom language. Stand up, open your books, look at me, come to the board, close your books, talk to your partner. These are things that should be in English only. They are very easy to explain. You just show what you want from your students, right? They know it, and then you can ask them to give the instruction to the class. These are small words. It's quite natural for the lesson to talk, to give some instructions. So teacher does it, students listen to it, they understand it, it's quite easy. And then they can also use the phrases, right, to be a little teachers in the lessons. We talk about simple instructions, right? I have already mentioned it during one of the webinars that we don't make it difficult. We try to use, for instructions, we use simple language, just several words, and that's all. It's better if the instruction is really big, it's better to make it into different steps, right? Not all at once. Yeah, some social rituals. Maybe you have some things to say hello. There are some phrases that every person who knows how to be polite does. Yeah, something like to ask about how are you, to talk about the family maybe. And for British people, it's quite a normal thing to talk about weather, right? And it's true. I have heard that. I have friends who live in Australia, they're native Australian. So every email I read about the weather in their country. So this is, it sounds it's a bit strange for me. It used to, yeah, my mom doesn't understand it because, okay, do they have anything to talk about? Why they mention weather all the time? But this is the part of their culture. So again, you can teach the same. These are some simple phrases that you repeat every lesson, and you do it. Students look at you. They want to act like an adult, so they repeat after you, and then they can start these social rituals. Right? First, you do it, then you choose a person who will be the leader, who will be the teacher, who will ask these questions. And you don't show everything at once. Right? You start small. You start with several phrases, then you add one phrase every week, maybe every month, and then you have a really big conversation, like a small talk that your students are ready to do. Classroom routine. If your student, why is classroom routine important? Because the students can feel confident, they feel safe, they know what should be done next. They know that if you use these cards or this book, it means that you will study how to new vocabulary. If you ask them to stand up in a circle, it means that they will play a funny game. If you turn off the music, it means that they have to write something and listen to this while listening to the music, right? So some things that help our little children, they are really small and they need to feel safe, right? And again, everything. And again, it's about the classroom language. So you repeat the same things. The students are used to it. They can repeat after you. They can then make these small things in the classroom instead of you and practice their speaking. One of the important things is to plan. I think that it doesn't matter how much experience you have, you can have different groups, different situations, and take a while, maybe not all the time, but several lessons per month at least, think what you are going to speak, what you expect from your students to answer. Is the language simple? Will they understand it? Is it appropriate to their level? Analyze how much time do you spend speaking and how much time your students spend speaking. Who needs more practice, you or your students? Maybe you can talk a lot and you can show them a great example of speaking, but is it appropriate for this lesson, for this particular lesson? Maybe it's better to show them the short model and then to elicit more. Maybe you don't need to explain everything, but you have to ask them to tell you, to guess or something like that. So from time to time, it's really good to plan what you are going to speak, and then after the lesson to analyze. And yeah, to support my idea, this is another thing, plan your pupils' answers. If you answer the questions, are you sure that your students will give you full answer? Or maybe the answer will be just yes and no. Maybe they will just nod their heads or something like that. What questions will make your students speak? So again, from time to time, any teacher must maybe even come back to this planning thing and revise. All right. My point is that speaking should be at every lesson. Even when you do something like that, this is an example from our book Wonderful World, the first level. At the beginning, the students have some introduction with the letters, right? What can we talk about here? Maybe to say the colors or something like that. So let's see. Why not introduce these letters? First, you introduce the sounds, the words that start with this sound, like jar, king, lemon, and only after that you move to the letter. So let's focus on the first part, because today we are focusing on speaking. So your students, they are new to the classroom. They hardly know how to ask about the names and about the mood, right? They have a very short vocabulary. What helps you? Stories can help you, picture cards can help you, and TPR, which means total physical response. It means that you do some gestures, spatial expressions, and your students repeat it. First, they don't speak with you, they just use gestures. Then they add words together to their gestures, so they have like a link. So if I show the time, can you imagine your face when you eat a lemon, right? So this facial expression, right? So, and you talk about lemon, right? So it's some connection that, or maybe the king, you can show it, his crown with the hands over your head, right? So, and first your students do the sections and listen to your story, and then they repeat after you together with the gestures. So they have this connection, they have support, and it really helps. You can actually Google for these things. There are some videos on YouTube about TPR. There is a man who teaches children about the apple garden together with gestures, and you can see that really small kindergarten children can tell a really big story together with the support of the teacher. What can be done? So you present the vocabulary telling a little story. Mind that the students do not have to know all the language. Use facial expressions and gestures to demonstrate the meaning. Yeah, you start your story like this. Once upon a time, there lived a king. You show the picture. Yeah, maybe you show this king. He is a happy king. Yeah. One day he took a lemon. The lemon was sour. Yeah, they don't need to know this word, but they understand the meaning of this word. But he took a jug, squeezed the lemon. Yeah, this is a very funny movement, squeezing lemons. And King drank a tasty lemonade. Yeah, so this is like a short story. It doesn't teach us anything. It's expected that the life, if the life gives you lemons, make lemonade from it, right? So you present some words, you connect them into the story, and then the pupils, you repeat it again, and pupils repeat the words with you, and then they use these gestures, and then you elicit. You don't ask students directly, yeah, but you just stop for a while, yeah. Once upon a time, they lived. And you maybe point to the picture, and then one brave student will tell you a king, because they have already repeated these words, right? And then you smile, and then somebody remembers this word, happy king. So all together, it's like a group activity. You practice words, and it's not just separate words, they are in the context. Students are in their normal environment because they hear the fairy tales, they repeat fairy tales together with their grandmas or together with their YouTube channels. I don't know what modern children listen to more often. So anyway, it's engaging, and they understand that, okay, here is a story. We can, together with a teacher, we can tell the story. Another thing, what is a typical activity for young children here? What can you see? Okay, I'm going to read some of you. Something is wrong with the sound. Okay, I hope that now everything is done. Yeah, TPR. Yeah, so these children. These children actually are doing song, like heads and shoulders, knees and toes. Yeah, so songs. Songs are the typical activities for young children. You already mentioned chants that helps us to study how to speak, and songs. Here it is. A sunny day today. By the way, this is an example from Wonderful World 1, Unit 11. You can find it on the site, a special site from Wonderful World Books with resources. So there is the sample unit together with this song and with the audio. So next time you're talking about weather, don't forget about it. Come to the site. You will get the link in the email and try this song. It's really nice. You can create a lot of different actions together with this song and sing it every lesson, maybe changing something and describing the weather that is outside. So what to do with the song? You add gestures. Pupils listen to the song and do actions. First, they do it quietly. Again, it's about the TPR, total physical response. Then you practice it. Pupil says a line that the teacher shows, right? So you have actions for every chunk, for every sentence maybe, or a series of actions. On sunny days, we play in the park, yeah? So you can show the sun days, like with your circle, making circle with your arms. We play in the park, so we can imagine how can we show it to the students, right? So you do it in a different order, and students recall the lyrics and they make this song, right? You don't do it right now, right? You do it after some time when they are familiar with the song and with the movements, of course. And you don't change the actions, right? If you have these actions, you do it not to make your students feel confused. Yeah. Then they understand the thing that one student shows, and other students do the activity. say the lyrics. So now they can do it in pairs. Yeah, they understand the task, the meaning. So it's a fun time. They can do it. The teacher listens, and then he knows that, okay, this sentence maybe on sunny days we play in the park, have some trouble, students forget some words, they don't pronounce it correctly, maybe they, yeah, so you can practice a bit more after it. So this pair work helps students to feel more confident, to become more independent, to interact with each other, and to the teacher, it shows on what level your students are and what should be done next, right? Okay. Dialects in the textbooks. I think that you have these things. I love these dialects in Wonderful World because these are really nice children, really great model, and everything. You can see that there are red and blue colors, so everything that is in blue can be substituted. So first you listen, you repeat this dialogue, then you teach your student that something can be substituted, that you practice it with them, and then they practice in pairs. What also is important here, the dialects are quite lively. So of course, they are just talking about their favorite activity, but if to look at the girls' phrase, cool, they are great. So what happens here? They add some natural reactions. And this is what we need, not to sound like the textbook, right? So this is what is, they are great. Then maybe you can start teach how to say they are wonderful, they are interesting, yeah, what is appropriate to the age of the students, and they study to talk to each other and to react to each other's phrases, which is really important to for this future. Spend time, plan enough time for practicing. First, you do it maybe one part of the class together with another part of the class. So maybe boys and girls, or maybe the first two rows are boys, the second two rows are girls. So you do it together, you help them, you try to clap, maybe to help them be up to the pace, right? Then maybe you can become a girl and the children will respond to you. Then you take one student and students will respond to him. So, and you understand that students get the idea, they understand that they should add some activities that you were studying during the lesson. Now they feel confident, now they can practice. And give them the task to talk to different students, organize it so they move they can move only when you clap maybe and change the partner, or they need to read, they can look at the book, or they do it from the memory, right? So, but first, lots of practice, then you will see that results are amazing. They need time to speak in pairs. You give them this time. You use this time to see if they are ready for this, to see what other support they need. You note down what is wrong, what is great. Then you give feedback. Even for small children, of course, you won't write everything on the board and analyze it. Yeah, you just understand that, okay, this part, they just maybe they just say the sports, yeah, hockey, football, basketball, cool, great, yeah. So this is like dialogue that could happen in the classroom. So you listen to it, you don't interrupt them, but in your notebook, in your mind, anywhere, you just know that, okay, students need more practice to making sentences, right? So you practice it again together with the class. Yeah, you show them the picture of the guitar and I play the guitar. You ask them to repeat it several times. You show them hockey. I like hockey. I play hockey. So it depends, right? So you give them feedback. You practice what should be practiced, and after that, they again do this dialogue, but with another partner, right? Because why should I speak to my partner? He knows already what I'm going to talk, right? So you just rearrange your students, so it's adds some meaning. Yeah, I don't just repeat phrases. I really try to make dialogues. I talk to a partner. I don't know what his answers are, so I want to share with you my new friend. And again, as a teacher, you monitor and you note that, all right, now they can make bigger sentences. Maybe not so many times that it is possible, that it's in the perfect word, but yes, they start doing it after revision, after feedback. And it doesn't take one lesson to teach them to speak with sentences, but if you keep a record of the mistakes, of what should be done next, if you practice it during the lessons, you will the results will appear. And on our site, we have created some support for teachers. So if you use this book, Wonderful World, there are finger puppets. So students can create dialogues as themselves and as these little heroes. There are girls and boys, so you can see that they are not the same, but you can guess who is who by the color of the hair. Fair hair, dark hair, curly, straight, and so on. This is where you can find it. This is our site, linguist.ua. You find the National Geographic Learning, and then here you can see materials, lesson plans. This activity with the letters, if you remember about the king, about the lemon, was taken from the materials. And here you can see finger puppets, which is this nice thing that you can prepare for your students and make your lessons like not to be the same all the time. What also, if you want our students to speak, we have to speak with them, and they need to understand why they need to speak. So let's imagine we have studied this grammar. We are looked at these words. I like flowers, you like flowers, she likes flowers, we like flowers, and so on, right? We practice it a lot. We chant it, right? Then we substitute like I like flowers to some things like I like puppets and so on, right? So this is it. But if to talk about speaking, you can see that there are some examples so that how what we usually say when we talk about routine. My mom plays the piano, dad dances to the music. Great. The students can see how we can change the verb. It is read, right? And it's about something, someone who are important for your students. Mom, dad, we. Maybe the names are not, but anyway, you can substitute. So ask your students to read the sentence and to tick the sentences that are about their real life. Yeah, so let's think about your mom. Yeah, so what your mom does? Plays the piano? No, my mom doesn't. Dances to the music? Yes, so I will tick. And then does the homework? No, of course not. Moms don't do homework. Eat at the table for sure. Climb big rocks? Yeah, my mom does. My mom climbs big rocks. So what you do here, your students add some personalization, some meaning to this task. They tick the activities that their moms do, and then they share with it. So they have a clear model. They have these rules, the correct forms of the verbs, but they talk. They don't just read the sentences. They talk to their partners about something that is important for them, about their moms. for example, or about me, right? So use this chance, again, you will see if they understand the rule, if they can use the letter S correctly, if they understand that sometimes you have to change the verbs. It's not the main focus here, but you can notice it for the follow-up activities, right? But the students can share what is on their mind, what is important to them, and practice speaking. So they, by doing these meaningful activities, you will show your student that we speak for a reason. We don't just like parrots repeat everything that teacher tells us. We need English to communicate, to talk about what is important for us. And this engages students more. They will be more willing to talk about things that are close to them. Let's talk about outcomes. When I talk about, say, outcomes, I mean what we expect from our lessons, from our questions, what students should answer. So I'm just going to open our chat box. Oksana, I'm very sorry for the connection. I hope that the things will sort out. Vera, I hear everything, but I can't write in chat or speak. Yes, participants can't speak. You write in the question box. This is the only way we can communicate. So I can see your questions, your comments, and I can read your messages where you have written. There are some questions from the teachers. I hear them. I hope that I will have time at the end of the webinar to talk about it. And oh, now it's okay. Good. All right. So what outcomes we expect? So if we ask our students, are there camels? What the answer should be? It's about planning students and teachers talk. Yeah, so this is a nice question to maybe to revise vocabulary, but does it help our students develop speaking skills? So the answer would be yes, there are. Yeah. What is the weather? Sunny. Maybe this makes more sense, right? What's the weather is quite a common question. We can ask in our everyday life, how many animals can you see? So you can see that the answers, of course, we can teach our students to give full answers. You don't answer with one word, you need to say the sentence, right? This is a good way to practice speaking, but it's artificial. You make them answer like that. Yeah, in real life, we can answer with 1 or 2 words, right? So we can expect from our students that the answers will be short, that they will practice vocabulary, not really the speaking. Yeah, thank you for the answers. Right, so let's have a look at other questions. Student A, say what you can see. Student B, draw what you hear. So again, the same picture, the same book, the same lesson, the same students, but you give this picture to students A only, and students B should draw. This, what is the difference here? I'm just wait for some answers. Interaction, yeah. Can I see other teachers commenting? No. This is option that is not here, so I'm very sorry. Use imagination, understanding, microphone method, asking you questions, collaborations. Right, so I can see camels. Maybe the first graders will not give you the whole text, right? They will say 2 camels, woman, maybe of course, if you practice it before that, they will use these sentences like there is a woman next to the camels. At least it's a bit difficult maybe for the first graders. So a woman, so two camels, then a woman. So anyway, they use the languages that they are capable of using. Maybe these are short words, maybe these are short sentences. They are in the desert, maybe. Yeah, draw a desert. They can give instructions. Draw two camels. Draw a green blanket. I don't know, right? But this is interaction. They have the problem. One student doesn't see the picture, but he wants to draw it. He needs to draw it. So another student gives instruction. The same, maybe 1-2 words, comments, but they make sense. And again, the students understand that we speak for some reason. We don't speak just because teacher told us. Next, what do you know about camels? Yeah, you can even give some beginnings, like they drink, they live, they love, yeah. Then the homework will be to check the facts. They can give you all crazy facts, and then they can check it with their parents, right? What can you see in the desert? This can be done as the whole class activity. Maybe they can add to the list to make the big sentence, like the snowball, right? So we create here what outcome is expected. We create interest. We make our students talk not only about what is in the picture, but what is behind this picture, right? So we help them develop, yeah, and they can. Some students will watch these programs about animals, about space, about anything that they are interested in. They will be glad to share with other students. Will listen and find out, right? For higher levels, I guess my question, yeah, great practice of question formation. She is working. Yeah, what was my question? And students try to construct. Yeah, it's of course it's appropriate if you have already discussed and practice making questions. They live 25 kilometers away. Yeah, where do the camels live, or maybe where do people live? Yeah, so what was my question? You can even prepare them and show if they are correct, right? Develop imagination, right? How can we survive in the desert? Nice. I think that even small children can give you some little small sentences like take water, take a hat, right? They are not the full conversation, but this is the meaningful conversation with separate words. But anyway, students understand that this is interaction, that they need to talk about different things, and it has some meaning, right? And of course, so during the lessons you add more grammar, add more vocabulary, you practice more structure. So then these dialogues, of course, will become more natural, more developed. But even with little ones, we don't expect them to talk like native speakers, right? But we foster this communication, and this is what's important. Now, this is like one of the tasks that can be given to more adult ones, maybe for teenagers, maybe for fourth graders. The picture is the same, so it's for you to see that with one picture we can work with different levels, right? Prepare questions about the pictures, prepare sentences about the pictures. Then students A, you ask questions about the pictures, and students B, try to find the answer among their sentences. Yes, of course, for smaller children, the questions and answers will be quite obvious, like there are camels, it is sunny, they are in the desert, and so on and so forth. And for older students, the questions could be any, like, where is the mother? Are they a family or something like that? Yes, so some questions that are behind the picture. Again, so in this way, students practice making sentences. They will practice speaking while asking, answering. Maybe you, of course, teach them to give some comments like, no, you are not correct, or I'm right, or your turn. Yes, or some language that is necessary for creating this communication. And you add the meaning. Critical thinking skills. Yeah. What food do camels eat? Yeah, you can ask lots of questions. If we start with this, yeah, it would be endless, I guess. So I see that you understand the point, that we don't just ask questions because we have to ask them. We try to make the communication, right? Now, let's imagine that we have this picture. We will read a text about this picture if we are students, but we just now in imaginary classroom. Before the text, what questions, before listening, reading activity, doesn't matter, what questions you will ask and what answers you expect from your students? Yeah. So have some time. To think about the questions. How old is he? Where is this boy? And what answers do you expect? What is the boy doing? He's swimming. Yeah, so we ask, give them a title of the story we are going to read. Maybe. What is he wearing glasses for, right? So we help them to develop this. What can you see? What is he wearing? Yeah, so some descriptions. Yeah, it's all right for students to revise vocabulary, to create the interest, describe the boy's hobby. Yeah. What do you think his hobby is? But again, what the answers would be? Would it be one word answers? Is there any communicative purpose of these questions? What is his hobby? Yeah, guess his hobby. Yes, this is a guessing game. It adds some meaning. Full answers, yes, right. But in real life world, we can ask also. We can answer also with one word. What is there in his hands? What can you see? Yeah. And yeah, the happy, it's sunny and warm. Do you have the same hobby? Yeah, and then you start talking about hobbies, and then you will make your students speak, right? This, yeah, what about pair work? What questions, what instructions will you give to your students to talk about these pictures in pairs? Are there any ideas from you? Make a story if you are the boy. Nice. What color? Yeah. So most of the questions, pretend you are this boy. Yeah, this is something that can provoke thinking skills and make us talking. In pairs, create a story about the boy and his leisure time. Yeah, so you give some time limit and ask students to prepare. Right, okay. Thank you. Father helps to his, oh, nice idea. Is he in the sea or a swimming pool? Yes, and the answer would be something like, he's in the sea or in the sea, right? So we revise vocabulary, we catch their attention, but is there any communicative purpose? 20 questions to guess what is in the picture. Yeah, so one student doesn't show the picture, and other students try to ask questions. I love this activity. Thank you so much. Yeah, so you showed the activity, the students, are there people, are there at home, is it summer? Yeah, yes, no questions, but this is communication. This is why we speak, to find out some information. Group A describes picture, group B draws. Yeah, that's right. Make some questions and B can guess what is his, her hobby. Okay, divide students, ask questions and answer these questions as this boy. Yeah, so interview, imagine you are the boy and make an interview. Yeah, this role play will work well with all the students. Yeah. If they have these questions. I see no chat. Marina, yes, that is true. We don't here have this option to show the comments. I hope that for the next webinar, I try to add something, and so some of discussions like that will be you will be able to see, but for now only I can read out the questions. All right, thank you for your ideas. I see that you rules of safety. Yeah, work with your partner and create and give this boy some rules how he should be safe on the water. Nice. So you see that once we add some communicative things, that the reason why we need to speak, the students will be eager to speak. Okay, so very quick look at what can be done with the photos, right? Great photo of the city. What can, if they are the small students, they don't have enough language to talk about it, right? So help them. First, ask them to create at least, yeah, what they can see in the cities. Tell them that they give some examples. Yeah, so in the city, I can see bus, I can see police officers, yeah, and something like that, right? After that, you start discussing the questions, but your students have some support. They have already created a list of words that you maybe then show on the board. So when they discuss these questions in pairs, they have something to look at, and they will not be silent. They will not use a Russian language or Ukrainian language, and they will because they have already brainstormed some ideas. So to sum up, successful activities, it's like must have for any speaking activity. It has clear instructions. It has clear model, right? So first you show your students what you expect from them. You give enough time to practice. This is important. You support, yeah, first you collect words, useful phrases, examples, you leave them on the board, you give them maybe the small pieces of paper with useful expressions to stick in their notebooks or something like that, right? They need support, and it's all right to feel safe in the classroom. Have a real life purpose. This is important. Yeah. If we talk about native language in the classroom, what happens here? This is my recipe. What should be done to avoid it? It's better to avoid it than to stop it. Yeah. So first of all, you are a role model. I have talked about that. You create a set of rules and you follow them, and this is important. Try to make rules realistic. So they're easy to follow, and the consequences are reasonable. Yeah, so maybe you have to do an extra task, but be sure that you check this extra task and you remind your students about it. Yeah, plan the instructions, answers, outcomes. So again, you spend time planning And you understand that if you just talk about the pictures, like, is there a boy? Does he have a violin? The answers would be like yes, no. If you give them clear instructions, some tasks, some real life situations, they will be engaged, right? Be sure that, of course, the level of your task is matches the level of your students. You support them. We have already talked about them. You set the time limits. You can manage this. You see that the task is really easy, so they finish it in 1 minute. So very quick, not 5 minutes as you planned. So very quickly you stop the activity, you elicit some answers, and you move on. Maybe you repeat this activity with different students, with different partners, but anyway, you manage the time, right? Big classes. What can help you? Find some students who can be leaders in each group, and they will be like your little helpers who will follow the rules. So of speaking native language, of minding what time, or maybe given the roles. So small, like, make small groups and put a leader into each group. Look at your class. For some activities, for some classes, it's all right to have mixed ability group. For some tasks, same ability, right? So maybe stronger students can do 3 exercises, while weaker can do 1 exercise, but they will get more use of it, right? Don't escape pair work. It's difficult to start with, but it gives you really great things to do. Introduce a class routine and stick to it. Again, everything the teacher should do. And again, you plan time limits, instructions, and models. After a while, you will understand how to do it. So now about the homework. You will get the link where you can download sample from Wonderful World series, any level you choose, only 1 exercise, and you think, what should you add as a teacher if you want to develop speaking skills? Maybe you would like to add some activity before this task or after this task. Maybe you can turn it into a game. Maybe you just prepare a set of questions, and of course, what outcomes you expect. The task is to develop speaking skills, to make this communication. You mentioned time limits, right? So maybe it could be useful for your first lessons after the winter break. And you send it to me, to my email, and first 10 teachers whose answers respond to all requirements, I mean that they're taken from Wonderful World 2nd edition book. You talk about 1 exercise. The task really develops speaking skills. So it has communicative purpose, it has clear instructions, it has a model, right? So first 10 teachers will get very nice classroom poster from our publishing house, National Geographic Learning, and just as a gift for your activeness. So hurry up, spend some time planning, and you will get a reward for it. All right, I see that we ran out of time. So again, you will see this during the in your follow-up email, so just wait for it. And certificates will be in your follow-up email. Question time, you were asking about presenting grammar in native language, in English only. If we talk about younger students, it's better not to explain them the rule, but to give them lots of different models. So as if you saw that slide with grammar, there were nothing like the words present simple, we add s. They were just example of the sentences. So our task is to provide students with lots of examples, repeat these examples, practice them, make some substitutional chants, repeat it again and again, maybe from lesson to the lesson, yeah, and add some communicative activities so students can practice it, and then give some feedback. You listen for your students to talk, and then you show them how it should be done correctly and practice it with them, and then again you add some communicative tasks. So you don't waste your time explaining rules, you spend time effectively by presenting the clear models of the grammar that should be taught. So we don't speak about habits, yeah, we just say, I drink coffee every day. Okay, for young children would be milk. I drink tea, milk every day. He drinks milk every day. And you repeat, then you change drinks into eats. Yeah, I eat apple every day. He eats apples every day, and so on and so forth. And you do lots of activities to practice this. Then you move to another grammar structure. For those who are interested in professional development, this is our training center, and that create really professional and thoughtful programs of your development. You can see that there are different models, and it's suitable for all the teachers, for primary, secondary schools, for private sector, from private sector schools. If you want to find out more, there is their site in the bottom of the screen, training.lingvist.ua. So please welcome and write them their questions and find out more about these programs. Our Facebook pages, we have lots of things. And by the way, on Monday, we are going to tell who the winners are from our Christmas video competition. I have received really lots of videos, and I am excited to tell you who the winners are. Just wait for it, and you will find out it on Monday. And of course, it's not the last competition. We are going to make them more and more. So follow us and find out about things that can help you engage your students and win some prizes. This is what I was inspired by. This is the Wonderful World book, and these are components that we prepared specially for teachers, for their help, to help them start lessons in the communicative way. Yeah, this is a series that inspired me, and lots of teachers have already chosen this book. So if you're interested, call me, write to me, ask me about this book. You saw some exercises from it today, and if you are going to do our task, so you can see units of all the levels. Again, my reminder of the certificate, they will be at in some time, not right now. And this is me, Diani Головань, the ELT consultant for National Geographic Learning. I work in Lingvist company. These are the contacts that you can use to talk to me. So thank you very much for your attention. We are a bit out of time, but anyway, you spend it with me, you wait till the end. So thank you so much, and I hope to find your emails. Goodbye.